both of the major parties, and we're talking about the United States here, hold their national convention during the summer before the actual general election. So the Republicans will hold their Republican national convention, and the Democrats will hold their Democratic national convention. And it's there that they officially choose their candidates that will run against each other in the general election. And a national convention for one of the parties will look something like this. This is the Democratic National Convention in 2008. You have all of the delegates over here, and everyone's all excited, and they start to cheerlead for their party and for their candidate. The Republican National Convention looks very similar. And although there's a lot of energy here, there actually isn't a lot of suspense. Going into the convention, we usually know already who the candidates for each of the parties are going to be. And that's because each of the states have their own selection process for picking a candidate. And as those selection processes, as we get the results from, we know how many delegates they're going to send to the convention and who they are going to, or whom they are going to vote for. But there's two ways that they can select those candidates, or those delegates, for the national convention. They could either run a caucus, or caucus. Let me spell that right. They could either run a caucus or they could run a primary. They could have a primary. And I'll start with primary because that's a little bit more intuitive. It's kind of like just a election that is based on party. For whom do you want to be your nominee coming out of the national convention? So for any given state, they'll have both a Democratic primary and a Republican primary. And on the Democratic primary, let's say candidate A